It's Monday, the start of a new week and the opportunity to inspire hope and save lives. Hello and thanks for choosing your Jamaica magazine. A very informative show awaits, so stay right there. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. In today's show, we share with you tips on how you or someone you know can become a foster parent. And later, a breakdown of cardiopulmonary resuscitation, otherwise known as CPR. The news of the day is next.
We have a subculture that supports those who do not inform, an anti-informer culture that pervades our entire society that we must break down.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Monday, February 26. In a further move to boost the police's crime-fighting capacity, government has broken ground to construct a new station in Port Antonio, Portland, to improve the working conditions of security personnel in the parish. The new building will replace the existing 150-year-old structure on Harbor Street. $268 million is being spent to construct the 16,000 square feet building with funding support from the National Housing Trust.
We want to thank the Honorable Prime Minister for this initiative where he charged the NHT to use some of their funds to treat with not only building the housing scheme, but building a community. And they will use up out of that 268, $50 million in the upcoming financial year and the rest for the next financial year because the build-out time won't be completed in one financial year.
The police station will include an administrative block, guard room, registry office, and space for the criminal investigative branch. The policemen and women stationed there will also benefit from modern bathrooms, dining room, holding and bunk areas, and officers' quarters. In related news, the Security Minister officially opened a new dormitory at Harmon Barracks in St. Andrew last Thursday. It's one of 4 being delivered there, and the prefabricated building was donated by China Harbour Engineering Company, while Astrom Building Systems installed and outfitted it for use as new barracks at Mobile Reserve. National Security Minister Robert Montague says the addition of these buildings will help accommodate plans to increase the training capacity at Harmon Barracks to reach 250 recruits in each training batch.
So this is in furtherance of the ministry's program to employ an additional 3,000 police officers by increasing the capacity at the Harmon Barracks training wing to 250 trainees. We will be able to do 500 per year because we do 2 batches per year.
The Security Minister also announced that a new multipurpose building at Harmon Barracks, which is already in use, should be completed within another week or so. In the meantime, Acting Commissioner of Police Clifford Blake underscored the importance of improving the working conditions for security personnel.
If you do not have a comfortable workforce, you will not get productivity.
80 National Housing Trust (NHT) beneficiaries have received keys to their new homes. They are among 150 persons to now take up residence at the estuary in Friendship, St. James. The keys were delivered on Friday by Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who indicated that the NHT was on track to issue 8,000 mortgages for the 2017-2018 financial year.
The highest it has done in many decades. So you can see that the government is being very effective in using an institution like the NHT to create housing solutions for the people.
The estuary is offering over 1,400 expandable one-bedroom, one-bathroom detached homes at a cost of $4.4 million per unit. The $7 billion development is providing houses to low-income earners. Prime Minister Holness assured the residents that repairs would be undertaken on the roadway leading to their community.
There are plans already in place for the road to be repaired, and it should happen in short order.
Government will be moving to produce titles for 20,000 parcels of land over the next 36 months. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Darrell Vaz, made the disclosure recently.
And that starts in the 2018-2019 financial year. Once Cabinet has approved, then of course I'll be at liberty to go into more detail in terms of how we are going to achieve this.
Minister Vaz says he will also be taking a submission to Cabinet in the next 2 weeks for improving efficiency in the land titling process. In the meantime, the Land Administration and Management Program, LAMP, has received equipment valued at $85,000 to further modernize and improve its operational efficiency. The equipment was donated by the Korean International Agency and the Government of the Republic of Korea. The portfolio minister says the items, which include computers and printers, are critical to LAMP's cadastral mapping work and the distribution of titles to more landowners across the country. And finally, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs will continue to advocate strongly for the attainment of the country's development goals as it implements Jamaica's foreign policy. That message was delivered by Governor General Sir Patrick Allen as he addressed members of the diplomatic corps at the annual cocktail reception and dinner hosted in their honor at King's House on Friday. The Governor General says Jamaica attaches high importance to its bilateral and multilateral ties with various countries and international organizations and will continue to maintain an active voice in the relevant international fora.
For it is only through partnership that we can aspire to effectively attain our socio-economic and developmental goals. Diplomatic relations and diplomats retain their value only in a world that strives for stability, development, and civilized leadership.
Similar sentiments were expressed by a number of the country's diplomatic partners at the reception.
As Botswana, we enjoy collaboration with Jamaica. Not only are you a middle-income country, but we also enjoy common membership of the Commonwealth. We are also members of the ACP group, and we have a common interest in working out modalities for how we should cooperate in our trade relations with the EU.
We are at the beginning of our cooperation. And I see many possibilities of development of these relations.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Don't make diseases spread. Wash your hands with soap and water instead. Wash them regular or use a hand sanitizer. Make sure the germs them dead. Touching your eyes or your mouth or your nose. Wash your hands before you do things like those. After you use the bathroom before preparing food, come on, wash your hand them clean.
Up next, the latest news stories coming out of the office of the Prime Minister in Jamaica House Weekly.
More housing solutions delivered. Reggae artists urged to promote peace and love in their music.
Music that we have is powerful.
Petrojam corporate building named. And Prime Minister Andrew Holness welcomed and thanked incoming and outgoing ambassadors. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Prime Minister Andrew Holness last week handed over keys to National Housing Trust NHT contributors who have purchased one-bedroom units at the Estuary in Friendship St. James. The cost of the units are $4.4 million, an indication, Mr. Holness said, of government providing affordable houses to citizens. He added that the NHT was on track to issue 8,000 mortgages for the 2017-18 financial year, which ends on March 31.
The highest it has done in many decades. So you can see that the government is being very effective in using an institution like the NHT to create housing solutions for the people.
Meanwhile, the services of the Land Administration and Management Division has been strengthened with the donation of computers and other equipment. The items were donated by the government of the Republic of Korea on Friday at a cost of $85,000. They'll be deployed to the Land Administration and Management Program LAMP and the National Land Agency. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Darrell Vaz, says the equipment will help the administration achieve the goal of producing 20,000 land titles over the next 3 years.
Freeing up titles for land that is not currently titled does so much to empower people to be able to use that land to help themselves, to access capital for their businesses, which employs people and of course which helps economic growth and job creation.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness says government will continue to implement renewable sources such as wind and solar to achieve greater energy security.
We are now at approximately 18% of our electricity needs being generated by renewables. We are on track to being able to supply 30% of our electricity needs using renewables. And that would ensure that Jamaica has a real energy security.
At the same time, Prime Minister Holness says financial commitments are in place to upgrade the Petrojam oil refinery.
I want to assure the country that the government is doing everything possible to ensure that our refinery is upgraded to being one of the most modern refineries in the region to supply not just our energy needs, but the energy needs of the region.
Mr. Holness was speaking at last Thursday's ceremony to name the Petrojam corporate office building on Marcus Garvey Drive in honor of former Prime Minister Edward Seaga. Earlier in the week, Prime Minister Andrew Holness hosted a Reggae Month reception on the lawns of Jamaica House. He used the event to encourage recording and performing artists to use their music to promote peace and love in the society.
Jamaica is going through a particularly difficult time with crime and violence. But this is not the nature or the culture of our people. And so tonight, I call upon the cultural icons and ambassadors who use music as a means of edifying the people, as a means of uplifting the people, that we need to do more with our music to get our young men and women to be less violent, to be less willing to participate in criminal activity.
Mr. Holness said this administration was looking to make the Reggae Month reception an annual event to promote and recognize the power of reggae music, or culture and entertainment.
To say thank you, to encourage you to be as creative and productive as you have been during the decades, and to exchange thoughts as to where the music is going and what the government can do to assist and improve the industry.
And finally, Prime Minister Andrew Holness was kept busy last week with several meetings. At Jamaica House, he welcomed the incoming High Commissioner Designate of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Reuben Ramming, bid farewell to outgoing Chinese Ambassador to Jamaica, His Excellency New King Bao, and hosted Ambassador of Nepal, Kali Prasad Pokhrel, and Ambassador of Vietnam, Trong Tan Nguyen. The Prime Minister also reflected on the life of former Prime Minister and national hero, the Right Excellent Sir Alexander Bustamante, at a floral tribute on the anniversary of his birth this past Saturday, February 24. And that's how we close out Jamaica House Weekly. Do join us next time for more of the news coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
So here are the facts.
7 out of 10 Jamaicans die from a non-communicable disease.
Because we love our people and we want them to live better quality lives,
we, the Ministry of Health and our partners, are launching Jamaica Moves.
Jamaica Moves is a call to action to prevent non-communicable diseases.
By educating and encouraging Jamaicans to be active.
Eat healthy.
And start living 30 minutes at a time.
Because 30 minutes of physical activity each day,
along with proper nutrition, can go a long way.
To prevent your risk from developing certain NCDs such as diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity, and certain cancers.
And remember, it's life we're promoting. That's why you see me going hard right now.
I'm all about living.
So help us take this first step towards a healthier Jamaica so you can enjoy more moments, more memories, more life.
There are only 2 days remaining before Heart Month 2018 comes to an end. How much have you learned about taking care of your heart or responding to heart-related complications such as cardiac arrest? Have you taken the time to learn CPR? If not, this next feature will show you how.
Oscar! Oscar! Oscar!
Though this is a dramatization, it has happened quite often. In the field, at home, or at work, a loved one collapses and is unresponsive. What follows? Usually chaos, confusion, heartache. Instead of immediately providing that critical resuscitation technique which may prevent death.
CPR stands for cardiopulmonary resuscitation. It is a skill that is an emergency skill that is used to revive someone whose heart has stopped beating. Cardiac arrest can happen to anyone at any time. In the event that happens, you need to know the skills that you need to perform to revive these persons or give these persons a chance of survival.
We never know when we can really in a situation where we need to help someone else. It's really just a little bit of your time, and I think it would be a worthwhile investment in learning these skills so we can render assistance.
Even when someone is choking, the techniques learned in CPR may be applied to save that person from asphyxiation. To release the person's airway, position yourself behind them and clasp your fist at the navel and roll in an upward motion. When someone is unresponsive, that's a whole other ballgame. The person may become unresponsive for several reasons. For instance, they could have a medical condition. To really know if someone is unresponsive and in need of CPR,
tap the person's shoulder and shout, "Sir, sir, sir," or "Ma'am, are you okay?" Once the person is not responding to you, and they can respond in several forms. They can answer by moaning, they can groan, they can open their eyes, they can move a limb. If the person is not responding to you, now you need to scan the chest and look if you see breathing. Once the person is not breathing, they are termed as being unresponsive. So once you have somebody collapsing, the first thing you need to do is check your environment, ensure that your environment is safe for you. Once the environment is safe, now you need to assess the person who has collapsed. Once someone is unresponsive, has no sense of life, call for help and bare the person's chest. So you remove their upper garments. Find your hand position. It's on the lower half, center of the chest, lower half of the breastbone, and you push in 30 times at the Bee Gees song, that's Staying Alive. Ha, 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 staying alive. If you are trained, after 30 compressions, you can give 2 breaths. If you are not trained, you don't know about CPR, you give hands-only CPR. So hands-only CPR is where you compresses the chest. You need to continue that on the way to the hospital, so you're maintaining cells life.
it's possible for anyone and everyone to learn CPR.
Nannies, construction workers, teachers, lawyers, doctors, everyone should learn CPR. Once you're able-bodied, you can learn CPR.
In terms of age, it's said as young as 12 years old can learn the art to save a life.
So many times, children get in situations that they need assistance. In fact, a cousin of mine, her son got into some distress. She realized that he wasn't breathing one day, and she was able to help him by giving him CPR. So I think that was really important that she had those skills so that she could assist her son, because who knows what would have happened if she wasn't able to give him that immediate assistance.
This course, I've done it before, and I find it very interesting because I work a lot with children, and one time I have to do a CPR on a little boy because there was leave under my care, and mother wasn't around, and he was eating some plum and playing on like plum seed, stabbing his throat, and I just hear him coughing, but it never very severe because he was coughing. So when he was coughing, I hold him up and I try to do a little, I understand the CPR, tell him to cough. And he cough and cough until it actually come up.
I had a patient once, and while I was there in the bathroom with that person, the person just fell unconscious, and I was there, didn't know exactly what to do, but I was there saying, "Sir, are you okay? Are you okay?" And I didn't know much, what to do, but I decided to put the person on the side, and I was there trying to stop the person, then I was saying to myself, if I had known CPR well enough, I could perform it.
The Heart Foundation of Jamaica is one of the several local organizations that offer training in CPR.
The Heart Foundation of Jamaica is an authorized training center for the American Heart Association. We offer CPR training for medical and non-medical persons. We have our scheduled in-house training, and the organization can call us to schedule classes at their convenience.
CPR!
The closing ceremony for the 2018 staging of National Foster Care Awareness Week under the theme Inspire Hope Foster Child revealed that in the last quarter of October to December 2017, 4,195 children are living in the residential care protection sector. 1,265 are in children's homes, 269 are in places of safety, and another 767 in foster homes. And the numbers are expected to increase. What can you do to foster a child? Listen now for these basic steps.
Have you ever thought about fostering a child but not so sure about how you can do so? Well, today is your lucky day. Get your pen and paper ready as we take you through all you need to know about the foster care program in Jamaica.
So what is foster care all about? Foster care is a process that allows non-biological parents to provide children in state care with a stable environment which contributes to their overall development. How do you become a foster parent? You have to be a responsible adult in good legal standing between the ages of 25 and 65. Must have accommodation that the child can be comfortably housed, gainfully employed or have some source of income, willing to undergo medical examination, must have a police record, meaning you must provide a police record, not that you must have a record, and finally to agree to a home visit and assessments by the children's officers periodically as they supervise the child in placement.
And those are the basic steps you need to take to foster a child. I dare you to make a difference and foster a child who is in need of your helping hand today. For more information on foster parenting, visit any CPFSA office island-wide or call 876-948-284122.
Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation was designed to facilitate and stimulate the key growth sectors in the economy. Macroeconomic growth must be supported by impactful positive changes in the lives of Jamaicans through the provision of quality jobs, access to affordable housing, clean water, and a healthy environment. Indeed, the sustainable development of industry must be partnered with strong social programs that empower Jamaicans to build a business in a reliable and sustainable economy. The modernizing and expansion of operations at the Kingston Container Terminal and the Kingston Wharf are part of a clearly defined intention to make the Port of Kingston the leading port in the region and the foremost location for logistics and near-port services. The dredging and redevelopment of Gordon Quay to receive the largest cargo ships is part of the determination to establish a world-class port and critical logistics center in the Western Hemisphere. Strong, decisive leadership sees plans well on the way to develop the Montego Bay port into the island's finest multi-use terminal. The expansion of the ports of Falmouth, Ocho Rios, Port Royal, and Port Antonio are being pursued to ensure that Jamaica remains the Caribbean's leading cruise destination. The Port Authority of Jamaica, as owners of the Montego Bay Freeport, is emerging as the leader in the development of business process outsourcing and has moved to the forefront of our sustainable growth and job creation agenda. Water is indeed life. Access to this natural resource is a human right. The development of new water systems and the refurbishing of existing channels in urban and rural areas form part of the government's commitment to improve the quality of life of all Jamaicans. We are working to increase supply while reducing non-revenue water loss to ensure drought resilience through the replacement of outdated pipelines and pump houses. Major investment will take place in the sewer collector system to ensure that Jamaica's development will take place in a sustainable environment. The water sector is an important example of how the use of public funds and private capital can be combined to bring an important utility into the 21st century. Through the Housing Agency of Jamaica and the National Housing Trust, we are committed to achieving 10,000 housing starts by year 2019. The sector has a very active public-private partnership policy, which will see a higher rate of private housing investment as the government makes the required changes to the functioning of the housing trust. The concept of a high-quality island-wide highway with an efficient interlocking road network was first proposed in 1964. It is the intention of this government to bring this concept to reality. We know that transportation forms a fundamental pillar for sustainable growth. This is why the government is committed to a strong structural investment program over the next 10 years, which will give Jamaica a modern, efficient transport infrastructure. As we work to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business, this administration is committed to sustainable development of our people. The work is great and the road is long, but our goal is in sight to achieve economic development and prosperity of our nation.
We have come to the end of today's magazine, but another informative show comes your way tomorrow. In the meantime, feel free to share your feedback and comments by emailing us at jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. Do follow us on Twitter at JIS News or visit our website, jis.gov.jm. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Remember, it's never too late to inspire hope or foster a child.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.